Well, thousands of veterans who served our country appear to be taken advantage of. The Department of Veteran Affairs was overpaying some guardians appointed to care for the vets.
And as 10 News investigative reporter Mike Deason found out in tonight's Extra, instead of fixing the problem, the government changed the formula to make it seem legal.
When I'm old and sick and need what I fought for, they just tell me go to hell.
Meet Ed Brewer, who, like thousands of veterans, is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder.
If our government and the military fail to address problems associated with PTSD, the situation will only grow worse in future years.
With pressure from Congress, the Department of Veterans Affairs has been giving disability payments to veterans like Brewer. And while he's been awarded the benefits, Brewer can't receive them because the department has declared he's incompetent.
I'm fighting for my life.
When a veteran is declared incompetent, they have to have a guardian to handle finances.
The VA sends the money directly to the guardian in a direct deposit account.
Matt DeRoche was a manager for the fiduciary program for the VA and says a guardian is supposed to receive 5% of the veteran's VA benefits as payment. But DeRoche discovered the regional office was paying the guardians 5% of all income the incapacitated vet was earning.
Federal retirement, military retirement, private investments, they're taking 5% of everything.
And while the regional office of the Department of Veteran Affairs was overpaying the guardians of the incapacitated veterans, it was an honest mistake. And internal memos from the department show that when they discovered the problem, they tried to fix it. But when they got some pushback and realized the scope of the problem, they took a different tact and try to make it go away.
At first, I actually went to my direct supervisor. I said, look at this definition of income. What do you interpret from this? And he just shook his head, couldn't believe what I just discovered.
After the discovery, the Department of Veteran Affairs started sending out letters to guardians explaining they were only entitled to 5% of VA benefits and they had been overpaid. It said they needed to return the money. But the guardians fought back, saying that's not what the courts awarded.
Their first reaction to me was in an email, "Good call, Matt." That was their first reaction from regional counsel. Then we had a meeting where they said, you know, if this would get out, we could be in gridlock with this process.
In order to solve the problem, these internal memos and emails show the regional office came up with a solution that allowed the guardians to collect 5% of all veterans' income by declaring it was for extraordinary services and they could get extraordinary fees.
From the undersecretary on down, signed off on this process in clear violation of the law.
The VA issued a statement saying the 5% commission is permissible under the Florida Guardianship Act, but a March 2010 audit says the VA is not protecting the income of incompetent veterans.
Their response is the problem has been corrected. It no longer exists.
And that brings us back to Ed Brewer, who is waiting for a guardian because the VA says he's incompetent, despite the fact a psychiatrist who works for the VA says he's totally competent.
I'm a broke down, sick old man. I need my country. And all I get from my country is that big middle finger and a foot in the ass.
And that's happening to thousands of others who are incompetent and losing some of their benefits after fighting for our country. Mike Deason, 10 News.
Now, the Inspector General audit also found the Department of Veteran Affairs doesn't have the capability or enough data to provide oversight of incompetent veterans' estates. And it criticizes the VA for not effectively monitoring the reports filed by the guardians to ensure they are not taking too much of the veterans' money.